to another video of mine. Today I will be reaching week 2 of confinement, a time when no doubt all of us are starting to look for whatever there is around the house to do. And luckily for me, there is a bit of a stockpile of kits still sitting in my storeroom waiting to be built. I'm now in a position to finally say I'm ready to start on one of my Defenders. Now I've got 2 Defenders currently in storage. One of them is this D90 by Team Raffee, and I've also got a Defender D110 also by Team Raffee. The 2 Defenders that I'm going to be building are much more scale, so I'm not so focused on the performance of these. As a result of that, I didn't go all out looking for all the performance bits in terms of the chassis. This specific Defender will be running on a Boom Racing chassis. This will not be a camel trophy build. I think there are just too many of those and they're so well executed already that there's just no point. Rather, I'm going to be building this the way I would imagine I would like my own Defender to look. So let's go ahead and open this box up, see what's in there. So inside, the first thing we have, stickers. That's the body shell, roof, attachment to the rear, and the main roof itself. So it looks to be larger than 1/10, maybe a 1/9. Again, it's going to determine what sort of action figures I use for the driver figure. I think in this case though, I will go with the 1/10 figures because at least it's an overall shorter wheelbase looking vehicle. Unlike the Range Rover, which was long overhangs in the rear and the front, it just made a 1/10 figure look incredibly small. This one could manage with a 1/10 figure. We've got the interior for the doors, ancillaries including windscreen wipers, door hinges, etc. There's the rear door. That's the front window frame that I was talking about. It's made out of solid plastic, makes it a lot easier. You don't have to mask off the painting of the windscreen. Definitely something which I prefer, and I have no idea why RC 4-wheel drive designed theirs differently. Clear pieces, front headlights, side windows, sunroof, etc. Front grille, not sure whether I'll be using this or I will be using the Kahn Design front grille and lights. Here's the front bonnet. Dash, seat rails, other interior bits and pieces. Chrome lights. I'm glad they've got these so we don't have to go and actually spray the interior of the lights before installing the lenses. These are the rubber seats. Likely that I'll be respraying these. I'm not sure yet what color. Most likely either black or my usual tan or brown. There's the interior. Hoping that the chassis clears this because I really don't want to have to cut too much into this, given that I want this to be a much more scale vehicle. Screws, screwdriver. There aren't that many screws in here. There are a lot less than there were in the Range Rover from JS Scale. Arches, I might replace these arches. I've bought different arches which I'll show you in a short while, made out of a black material, which from my perspective works better given that if we're scraping the body shell, we don't have to repaint the black. Either that, or if I keep these, I'll paint it all body colored. Again, not yet decided. And finally, the doors. Here we have the roof rack. It's more of a roll cage roof rack, not made for the Team Raffee specifically. I think this was actually made for the RC 4-wheel drive. Ordered this one from RC Mart. Initially, I wasn't sure whether this was going to fit, and as a result of that, I actually to bend the roll cage out on the sides a bit more so that it would fit. It appears that the body shell on the Raffee is slightly wider, but once it was bent out, it seems to fit perfectly. We'll be using this one. I actually did buy another roof rack as well as an alternative in case this didn't fit, but this is definitely the one I'm going to be using. This is the rear bumper, made out of metal. Swing out, we're going to put a spare wheel on that, and that should look pretty good. This was bought initially in case the other roof rack did not fit, but it does. So this one is now going to become a spare. A couple more bits and pieces here. These are the window grills and frames from CC Hand. These are much more aggressive arches. I'm not entirely sure if these will fit, but these are the arches that are molded in black, as I mentioned before. And these are the arches that I will try and use with fatter tires. So that looks to be pretty aggressive. I'm quite keen to get these on, hopefully. Here we've got rear light protectors. Now those are small screws. Hopefully this will go on quite easily. Screws are really small, but yes, that'll look really good. We've got here the front steering, lower steering protector, again by CC Hand. And more window protectors. This is the chassis rail kit from Team Raffee. Now, it incorporates the body mounts that are there, rear front bumper, and the rails machined out of aluminium. Nicely done. They're not C rails, so not that to scale, but they just feel great and beautifully made. And finally, the core of this build, the wheels and tires. Not sure whether I will use these tires, we'll see. Wheels are nice. Matte black, definitely a look that I'm happy to keep. A couple more battery straps and other ancillary. This here is the chassis. Pre-built. Yeah, it doesn't feel like there's any oil in there, but I'm not too worried about that for now. We'll fill that later on. Hopeful that the shell and the internals clear this. I suspect it will. The only other concern obviously is the battery, but I remember that the rear part of the interior bumps up. So this should all fit. That's the receiver box. Steering servo goes on the left-hand side, and here's the steering link that comes up here. So reverse of the other kits that I've used. That's the body shell mounts. We'll have to see actually what the difference is between these rails and the Team Raffee. I think it's the length. This is a bit more adjustability in terms of where the links go. All right, so this is going to be the build. Putting on the shell here already, I could see that I think there are some clearance issues in the rear and the front. This is just too short. So I'm suspecting the chassis is actually slightly longer with the Team Raffee. We'll transfer the new rails onto this chassis, and then after that we'll start to work on the body itself. In the meantime, I do hope that you all enjoyed this specific episode. And as we progress, I will take more videos. I'm really excited. This will be the very first Defender that I'm building, and I do love them in real life. In the meantime, do take care, stay safe, and healthy.